Good afternoon, and sorry, good evening, and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. We're actually waiting for the Federal Reserve to make his decision actually now, and that will actually see how the market is actually moving. We're expecting actually, obviously, the interest rate to go up tonight with a 0.25%, and then later on, we might see the behavior. Just remember that Jerome Powell is talking at 8:30, and that is now South African time. So he will actually have a speech at 8:30. I'm actually waiting for the information to come through, and I see nothing as of yet. But we expect actually the Federal Reserve to lift up the interest rates, and then we will see actually the market reaction. We're seeing absolutely nothing as of yet. And then we will definitely see what the market is doing. Okay, so it looks like it. That it did lift up the interest rate. I'm just going to refresh my page. Oh, I hope this guy lift up the interest rates. If he didn't, then this would be a catastrophe. You would immediately see the market, behavior of the market is actually going strange. But I'm actually looking for gold because the whole topic will be regarding gold tonight to see actually what is happening with gold. Will gold actually go up? That is now with all the rate hikes that is coming for this year, because the Fed do expect interest rates to go up at least 7 times this year. That is just for 2022. I see absolutely nothing. This is actually very strange, because that's this time already they're supposed to lift up or made a decision already. Oh, they did. They lift up the interest rates with a 0.5%. They lifted up to 0.5%. That is actually widely expected. And the thing is, now this is the topic of today. Will gold prices actually move up while the Federal Reserve is actually raising interest rates? And for me, gold is actually the hot commodity. And it looks to me gold can actually go up with this whole fiasco of interest rates that is actually going up steadily. Obviously, you must remember that the Federal Reserve will actually, or I would say Jerome Powell, he will make a speech. This is now at 8:30. I'm just actually here opening him. So sorry about this. Actually, just trying to open up some trades while I'm chatting. Just one moment. Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm actually bullish with gold. And I actually will actually give my forecast now for you why I'm saying that. Now, the Federal Reserve did lift up the interest rates. That is now for today to actually 0.5%. And actually, I actually had a line here. This is on trading view, actually the chart that I'm using. I was expecting actually gold maybe to go a bit further down to about the 1800, say 1870 there around. And from there on, I expected the gold price to go up. That is what I initially thought. That is what's going to happen today. I did expect actually gold to go further down, but it looks like it will not. And it looks like the gold price can actually go further up. Now, this is actually the theory that I have in mind. I know it looks like a bit gibberish here for you, but I will explain this now. This is actually the gold price. Now, what I'm actually trying to do here, I did show this chart before. This was now, I think it was last year, I did this chart where I actually said the dollar will go down, gold prices will go up, and this is all to do with the inflation and the possibility that interest rates might go up, and then also the gold price will continue to rise. Now, the thing is, the theory that I have in mind, it's coming back from the 1970s. Now, this is what's happening with the gold, actually with the dollar. This is the dollar in red. This is gold. Gold is in yellow. And then you have interest rates that is in blue. And that then you have the inflation rate. Now, I did show you guys this chart before on a different podcast, but I will just do it again with you. Now, as I said, we're just going to do now gold and then the interest rate. So the interest rate is in blue, and then we have gold in actually in yellow. Now, very importantly, excuse me, very, very importantly, yeah, you have the interest rates that's going up. This was now in the 1970s. So the interest rates are going up. This is the only way how you can kill it, high inflation, is actually to lift the interest rates up quite aggressively to bring inflation down. But with a 0.25% now currently running for Jerome Powell, honestly speaking, this guy is not serious by trimming down inflation. He's not. And I actually did this in a podcast actually earlier. Now, he's not serious about bringing down inflation because obviously, if you bring down inflation in this case scenario, yeah, if you press inflation up so drastically, like what they did in the 1970s, that is where you get a recession. Finish, because he needs to put up inflation high, and Jerome Powell has not the strength of doing that because obviously he needs to please his boss, that is the president. But if the president and Jerome Powell is on one page and hey, we need to work on inflation, then he will take this route by pressing hard on inflation, lift up the interest rate aggressively to bring actual inflation down. But that is not the case. So he's actually playing fool now with inflation, which is extremely dangerous. So he will actually basically put inflation up 0.25, 0.25 every bloody meeting. And this is what will happen with gold. Gold will just keep on climbing because inflation will just keep on climbing. Because we have the story of Russia that is currently happening there. In the 1970s, it was actually the oil embargo that was on the United States. That was now in the 1970s. Now it's not the similar story, but we have a story with Russia that exports about close to about 11 million barrels actually per day. And there is restrictions on Russia. Obviously, he's talking with Venezuela. Look, for Venezuela to get to 11 million barrels a day, that will take 5 years for them to do that. Iran, the same. That will take them forever to get to that capacity. So that is not possible in the short term. That is definitely not possible. And this is a scenario that I just pointed out now. This is what will happen. You will play fiddle with the interest rates, and that will push up basically the gold price further up, and then you will have basically a very weaker dollar until they get serious with inflation. By bringing inflation down, they will have to stem hard on the interest rates, and then you will have inflation coming down, and that is where the dollar will go up. My prediction is we will have a very, very bad dollar going forward. We will have a weak dollar going forward. We will have a strong gold price, or basically not just gold. We will look at all other commodities as well, copper, oil, you name it. That will go up because interest rates is still cheap. It's only up by it's only now at 0.5%. So people will still borrow money to drive around and to buy stuff. That is what will happen. Unless you take away the credit out of people, inflation will go up. So your Bitcoins, your cryptocurrencies, that looks for me also that they will go up. So basically all your cryptocurrencies, that look the potential that can go up because people will rather buy stuff. People will go actually buy stamps, gold, old cars, you name it, just to keep value. Or people will actually invest in companies that is actually valuable. But for Jerome Powell to lift up the interest rate to 0.25, he's playing actually with fire here, extreme fire. But you guys need to pay attention also to actually to his speech, which I think he will talk tough on actually on interest rates and on inflation, but will do absolutely nothing. I'm sure South Africans know about the story of Ramaphosa and corruption. Talk tough, but do absolutely fuck all. That is exactly what Jerome Powell is doing. Talk about inflation, said he will lift up interest rates 7 times this year. We all know that he's going to do it. That is no surprise. What he needs to do is lift the interest rates up quite aggressively to get inflation down. And that will not be the case. So that's why I think that the gold price will go up. Silver prices will go up. All commodities basically go up. Australian dollar looks a good buy. Even the South African rand. Even the South African rand look like a good buy. New Zealand dollar, Canadian looks like also like a good buy. It looks like the war, maybe it will calm down. I doubt that. So the euro normally will play a good part and also the British pound. But with the war still continuing, I actually have my question marks on the euro and the British pound. But Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South African rand, oil, gold, those commodity currencies and commodities for me looks like good buys to me, and also your cryptos. So I was expecting this is 0.25. You will talk about 7 rate hikes, which means absolutely fuck over inflation, because the interest rate is still cheap and he don't want to cause actually a recession. Well, that is his problem. Just make sure that you cash in. Now, that is it from my side. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Please be careful when it gets to the whole interest rate story. That will be at 8:30 when he has his conference. Please click on the link below, subscribe my YouTube page, and there's also the radio talk show that I have in the mornings at 10 o'clock. The link is also below. Click on it, register, and then also you can hear from me in the mornings via Mixler. So that is it from my side. See you guys tomorrow again at 10 o'clock and then also at 8 o'clock. Bye-bye.